A very good evening. Thanks for staying with us here on Times Now this evening. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Kritsween Walia. And our top focus this evening, viewers, former Vice-President of India, Hamid Ansari, is in the middle of a controversy, a big controversy of fraternizing with a Pakistani spy. Now, even as the photo proof of Ansari and Nusrat sharing stage has surfaced, Ansari still continues to maintain the same stand that he never knew Ansari or invited him to any event for that matter, including the events of 2009 and 2010, and had never for that matter met him in person. Now, the controversy started, remember, with a Pakistani reporter saying that he had traveled to India on multiple occasions and he used the opportunity to spy on India for the ISI. He said that one such occasion was a conference for which he was invited by the Vice-President Hamid Ansari himself. This is where things started unraveling, viewers. After a massive political storm, Congress and Ansari both have released statements saying that these are insinuations and they're baseless, and that the BJP is unnecessarily attacking Ansari, and that Mirza was in India to participate in an event called International Conference of Jurists on International Terrorism and Human Rights, which, by the way, according to them, was held on December 11, 2010 in the national capital. But now the organizer of this very conference by jurists on terrorism has stepped up and rubbished all of those claims, Ansari's claims. He says that while he did invite Ansari to a conference in 2010, the Pakistani journalist was not present there. Agarwal has now put out a picture of a conference that took place on 27th October, not in 2010, but in 2009. October 27, 2009 is when this picture dates back to. And it is this conference by the Jama Masjid United Forum where Hamid Ansari and Nusrat Mirza can be seen together. Also seen on the dais are Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid and Farooq Abdullah along with Ghulam Nabi Azad, among several others. Now, this has raised serious questions about whether the Congress and Hamid Ansari misinterpreted facts. We even confronted the conference organizer Agarwal, who revealed with utmost confidence that the request to invite Mirza to the 2010 event by the former Vice President's office was turned down by the organizers, and that this certainly did offend Hamid Ansari. Listen in. Did you receive a similar request to invite the same Pakistan journalist we're talking about for your event as well, which took place in 2010?
On Mr. Ashok Diwan, who was the director at that time, and today he is OSD to sitting Vice President also. He called me and told that Honorable Vice President want that I should invite our Pakistani journalist for this our conference. Okay. But I have not invited him.
The BJP too has snapped up the issue and questioned whether an ISI spy masquerading as a journalist was indeed invited and given a free run by the then Vice President. They've also specifically put the Congress in the dock about the same, pointing out how at the Jama Masjid event, along with Hamid Ansari and Nusrat Mirza, several other Congress leaders were also on the dais.
जब ये प्रेस वार्ता खत्म हुई, उसके बाद एक वक्तव्य हामिद अंसारी जी की तरफ से आया और मैं रीड कर दूं। मैं ये वक्तव्य रखना चाहता हूं जिससे कि बिल्कुल स्पष्ट हो जाए कि उन्होंने क्या कहा। इट इज अ नोन फैक्ट दैट इन्विटेशन टू फॉरेन डिग्निटरीज बाय द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया आर ऑन द एडवाइस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, जनरली थ्रू द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स। हामिद अंसारी जी खुद कहते हैं कि पूर्व की कांग्रेस सरकार की सलाह पर उनसे मशवरा कर ही इन फॉरेन डिग्निटरीज को बुलाया जाता है। बीच में बैठे हैं तत्कालीन उपराष्ट्रपति हामिद अंसारी जी। इसी तस्वीर में अगर आप देखें तो सरकार के बड़े वरिष्ठ मंत्री भी बैठे हुए हैं। कांग्रेस की सरकार के वरिष्ठ मंत्री मंच साझा कर रहे हैं वक्तव्य है हामिद अंसारी जी का और ये तस्वीर है और ये सवाल है, क्या ये सत्य नहीं है? कांग्रेस पार्टी इसका जवाब दे, सोनिया गांधी जी जवाब दीजिए, राहुल गांधी जी जवाब दीजिए। तो क्या ये वाजिब सवाल नहीं है जो भारत की जनता आपसे पूछती है कि ऐसे व्यक्ति को वीजा क्यों दिया गया? आतंकवादी हमला हमारे देश पे किया जाता है और हमने ये भी बताया था कि आतंकवाद से कैसे लड़ना है ये कांग्रेस पार्टी पाकिस्तान के आईएसआई एजेंट से सीख रही थी। ऊपर लिखा है सेकेंड इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस, उसके नीचे शीर्षक है टेररिज्म नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल। जो मुंबई का आतंकवादी हमला हुआ उससे 1 साल भी अभी नहीं बीता था, 1 साल भी नहीं बीता था, और बीच में बैठे हैं तत्कालीन उपराष्ट्रपति हामिद अंसारी जी।
We're being joined by Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. Shweta Shalini, spokesperson BJP, will also be joining us in just a bit. But Mr. Srivastava, in the meanwhile, now that these questions have been raised, the BJP is certainly hitting out at the Congress party, saying that these questions must be answered, and there was an attempt, a deliberate attempt made to distort facts. Why is it that a different event was quoted when in reality one was talking about the 2009 event? Pictures of the same have been shared across.
Kritsween, first of all, Vice President is a nationalist and Vice President was on a constitutional post. I refuse to believe this man called Nusrat Mirza, and I have seen his own statement on the social media. He has no connection with the ISI. Did anybody verify that he is an ISI agent and he was coming to India? Whether he came to 3 cities, whether he came to 5 cities or 7 cities, doesn't matter. And there has been no evidence of calling that the Vice President's office invited Nusrat Mirza. Can somebody show me an invite for that? Or Vice President office person called up Mr. Adish Agarwala to involve him and to call him for that meeting. So I'm saying that what is wrong in it, that what if the person had come over here and after
I will agree with you.
1 minute. 12 years later, you wake up and say that this man was an ISI man.
All right, given Shweta Shalini is with us, given Mr.
Over here.
Srivastava, there is no way to corroborate Nusrat Mirza's claims. If you're a spy, why would you feel the need to, share it with the world, talk about it, unless you're very desperate? But this picture, now that it has been shared by Dr. Agarwal, which by the way, was the Congress party that in the first place went on to question him, said that he was the organizer of the 2010 event. Why is it that the organizers let this invitation take place? Why is it that they invited Nusrat Mirza, who is such a suspicious character or who had anything to do with Pakistan or the ISI? Shalini.
It's quite hilarious, because Raviji went and saw the Twitter handle of Nusrat, but did not bother to go and see the Twitter handle of Agarwala.
Did I say Twitter handle? 1 minute.
In a press conference to say
Twitter handle.
And clarify
I did not
that
say
I
any
actually
Twitter
got
handle.
a call from Hamid Ansari's
I did not
office.
say any
In
Twitter
fact,
handle.
when we were not
I
ready
did
to
not
give out
say
the
any Twitter
invite,
handle, Shweta
then,
Shalini.
he was
1 second.
quite
No,
Mr.
sorry.
Srivastava, you've had your say. Let Shweta Shalini respond.
Clarified.
Allow me
Let
now.
her respond. You've had your say, sir.
No, let me
Allow me
finish,
now.
Raviji.
Allow me now.
You
are telling a lie.
No, we're not going to be able to hold a debate, and nothing is going to come of this debate if we don't let each other talk. Please give uninterrupted time to Shweta Shalini. I'll come back to you.
Live to thread. And now, having been consecutively 2 terms the vice president, we've seen how he behaved once he was out of the official position. But now that it has come to light as to what he did while he was in official position, Congress should come and not only clarify, it should come and apologize to the nation. You representing the Congress is coming and questioning the mere fact that Nusrat is actually not an ISI agent. He was never a spy. He himself said that I came on the invitation of an ex-person called Hamid Ansari ji, who was then Vice President. and then I actually gave vital information back to the ISI. He's claimed this, he said this, and now you come and say that, oh no, he was not an ISI agent.
You don't want to believe in what Mirza had said. All right, you think he's a suspicious character, suspicious journalist, and we should not believe in what he said. But look at what Dr. Agarwal has said. I'm going to quickly put out a statement that has been shared by him in detail, and he says, Mr. Hamid Ansari had shared the dais with Mr. Nusrat Misra at the said event. Whenever an event is attended by the President of India, Vice President of India or the Prime Minister of India who are adorning the dais, the names of all people who share the dais are to be first cleared by the said leaders. So even if it was not cleared by the leader, by the Vice President in this case, he was certainly in the know-how of the scheme of things of the people who he will be sharing the stage with. He had prior knowledge of the same.
If sharing the stage, allow me now, your time is up now. Shweta Shalini, keep quiet.
Shweta Shalini,
keep quiet now, please.
Let's quickly listen into what Mr. Srivastava has to say. Let's quickly listen into his counter. Yeah.
Please keep quiet.
Mr. Srivastava,
I'm
go ahead.
telling you, if sharing a dais proves everything, then Mr. Narendra Modi shared the dais with the Nirav Modi, who flew with the 13,000 crores of public money from India. What was he doing? Why he was not sharing a dais in the Davos? Should he not be proud for that? Allow me now.
In the organizing committee, we know
where India and Pakistan were at that point in time. We're talking about months after 26/11. Not even one full year. We lost about 170 plus lives in that cowardly attack. It wasn't even 1 year to this.
Let me tell you that Nusrat Mirza is such a discredited journalist that he said that 26/11 was done by the US, not the Pakistan. Will you believe him now? He is a discredited person who has got no value at all.
Why are we obsessing with Nusrat Mirza? I am asking you, why is it that the Congress party did not come out clean on this? Why did they have to mislead the people? Why were they talking about a 2010 event when in reality both of them can be seen together in these visuals in a 2009 event?
12 years you were sleeping. If Hamid Ansari was doing something, his conduct was suspicious, why you were sleeping? Why did you not probe?
So this was a miscalculated comment, remark, stand by Nusrat Mirza. We don't want to believe in what Nusrat Mirza has said. But why did the Congress party not come out with the facts in the first place?
Did you ask anybody? Did you ask anybody?
Let her respond to this. Why did the Congress not come out clean? Of course. This was a headline, sir. 3-4 days ago, everyone was talking about this sensational claim. And this is when the Congress party named Dr. Agarwal. Shweta Shalini.
They did not name it.
1 second.
The Congress, your question is very clear. Why did the Congress not come out clean? Because it was not clean. It was never clean. So it could not have come out clean. They had malified intentions, and that is the reason why they made a man like this who had malicious intentions against their own country to be sitting on that chair. And we have enough and more proof right now, right from ex-raw agents to his current disposition after he lost the chair, after he was moved out of the chair, to prove that his actions were completely against the country. Now it is for the Congress party to come and clarify, and this is what you get on cable. A spokesperson for Congress party comes and in national television actually goes ahead and asks questions on the intentions of Nusrat Mirza. He says, how are we believing Nusrat Mirza? Of course, we know for sure he had said that I came into India and I actually spied, gave back information to his own country.
Believe that group,
Mr. Srivastava, the very logical question then arises. One second, Mr. Srivastava. Shweta Shalini, let me come in here. Mr. Srivastava, the one very obvious question is, when this allegation was first leveled by the Pakistani journalist, why did the Congress feel the need to justify it by saying this was an event wherein the organizers picked up who will be attending the event. Why could they not come out clean on which event is being spoken of? Why did they have to lie about the event to begin with? If there was nothing fishy...
There is no question of lying. Why the Congress party should respond to any Tom, Dick and Harry?
The picture is for you to see on our screen, sir.
Ordinary journalist
we've marked both the people. We've marked Hamid Ansari ji. We've marked the Pakistan journalist. And the protocol says that if not the Vice President himself, his government or people involved on the official level have to be a part of the entire process on who to pick or who will be sharing the dais with the Vice President. It's not a casual meeting or there's no chai pe charcha that's happening here, sir.
Show the evidence.
The evidence is for you to see on the screens?
No, it is not. There are n number of people. There are dignitaries. There is Bukhari. There is Farooq Abdullah. There are many people there. Why not all Congress ministers were there? There were many people, many dignitaries were there. Why this man came? How this man came? How he managed it? Why Hamid Ansari is responsible for that? Answer me.
Shweta Shalini, the BJP all this while has been saying if there was any truth to what has been said by Mirza, if he has visited India on several occasions and if he has passed on sensitive information or information of the country in any way whatsoever to ISI in Pakistan, then it's extremely dangerous and there is our national security is at stake here, and that's why it must be probed.
Why were they sleeping on it for 12 years? Why were you sleeping on 12 years on this subject?
Sir, if something comes out for everyone to question after 12 years, will we not act on it?
No. You are prompting up.
They were taking the entire country on the ride. Ravi Srivastava ji, your Congress party was selling the country. Please understand this. This is national threat.
I am independent.
And now, in opposed to apologizing to the countrymen, you come here and question that what has come forward is not right. And you are smiling on this.
Why
you
smiling?
go and tell Mr. Uti Krishnan's mother that nothing like this happened.
No corroboration.
Every now and then, one or the other soldier loses his life. Go and tell them.
You are simply lying, which I don't trust.
Okay.
You have no evidence.
Okay, Mr. Srivastava.
Corroborate.
It's very simple. All right. You might be of the opinion that Nusrat Mirza is a funny character who for 15 minutes of fame went ahead with these baseless allegations. There is no truth whatsoever to these allegations. My simple question here is just one. The event that took place in 2009 is the International Conference Against Terrorism. This was in October 2009, which was attended by Ansari, Nusrat, Farooq Abdullah, the Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid, among several others, including some of the Congress leaders as well. Why is it that the Congress, when they had to come down to an explanation, said that this was a conference of jurists on international terrorism and human rights held on 11th and 12th December 2010? Why mislead the nation, sir?
First of all, I request you to use a respectable language for Mr. Hamid Ansari, because
we have been addressing him as Ansari ji. You cannot question how we're
who was a vice president of this country. Tomorrow you will be calling Venkaiah Naidu after 1 month.
And there is no doubt.
That's your prerogative. You can do
how
it.
respectful a diplomat he has been in the country. Nobody is raising questions on that, sir. But anyway, make your point. Let's not digress. Please answer my question, sir.
It is very easy to blame, fasten the guilt on someone who is not in office. Tomorrow this may happen to the sitting vice president also. What I am saying is he is a nationalist, he has a clean record, and if he had done anything wrong, why this government sleeping for 8 years? You could have probed it.
Nobody is questioning his reputation.
Because you want to use it politically now. This is your Islamophobia.
Nobody is questioning his reputation. The Congress can still come out clean. The Congress can still explain what really happened. But the explanation is not adding up, is why we're asking these questions.
Kritsween, my point is, why should they explain? to somebody, some Nusrat Mirzad statement.
You said we are not questioning his intentions. Absolutely, I'm contesting, I'm questioning his intentions. And I know for sure that he had qualified intentions. Second and for all, now if after 12 years or 20 years or 25 years, we figure out that there is somebody who puts the national interest on stake, do you think we will not investigate it? Till now, if he's
All right, seem to have lost that line with Shweta Shalini. We'll reconnect with her. Mr. Srivastava, you know, I was just coming to you. Now, though there are questions being raised by the BJP, and most certainly there will be. But as far as the Congress is concerned, now, when this controversy first broke out, we are questioning as to why is it that the Congress felt the need to say that this was not the event of 2009 and it took place in 2012, because it's the Congress that named the organizers, questioned the organizers. The organizer has come out today with a detailed statement. Otherwise, the organizer did not feel the need to jump in. Today is when he's come out and he's in detail spoken of what exactly had happened, spoken of the director to the vice president, former vice president, who himself personally dialed him and made a request that Mirza be invited to the 2010 event as well, which was turned down, which he said offended Ansari ji.
Now you are making an unsubstantiated statement.
I am just quoting what Dr. Agarwal has said.
Vice President never called up anybody, and Vice President doesn't call up anybody.
But this
Vice
is what
President
your
has
organizer has
got
said.
His office did.
That was the organizer
His director did. I'm not saying he called up Dr. Agarwal. You should go back to the recording and listen to what I said. I said his director back then dialed the organizer, Mr. Agarwal, who put out a detailed
statement.
Prove
it. I said prove it. This is your word against mine. You are saying I did it. I say I didn't do it. Prove it. That's what I'm saying. Corroborate it by some evidence that yes, this had happened and this has not happened. This is your word against mine. You can blame me for anything and I'll accept it.
I'm asking you a straightforward question, sir. Unfortunately, I've not received the answer I was looking for. But I'll have to leave it at that. I'm running out of time. Hopefully, one will be able to unearth in hours and days to come as to what really went wrong here. Appreciate you joining us, both Shweta Shalini and Mr. Srivastava. Thank you for speaking to us and taking out your time. Let's quickly shift our focus